with your motivation starting up, take some time now to bring your awareness or notice the breath at your nose. Take some time to notice the breath, the natural breathing at your nose. Allow each breath to slow down just slightly compared to the last. Everything that has happened today or before today, all your ideas and thoughts about the past, leave them outside the door. Everything that has happened to you today, leave them outside of the door. And everything that will happen in the future has not happened. So for now, please only watch the breath at your nose. Take some time now to watch your body, starting with your head, your neck and shoulders. As you notice your forehead, which holds a lot of pressure from thinking, take some time to breathe out any physical tension around your head, neck and shoulders. Breathing out of your nose, release any tension. Head, neck, shoulders, mouth, back of the head. Please focus, release on the out breath. Imagine your head has become lighter, and now continue down to your upper body, shoulders again, upper arms and upper back. Release any physical tension on the out-breath. Slowly continue down to your stomach area, lower arms, hands, lower back and hips. Release any tension on the out-breath. Continue down your thighs, lower legs, all the way down to your feet, to your toes. Release any physical tension on the out-breath. If your head still has tension or problems with your shoulders and back, finally release any physical tension throughout your whole body on the out-breath. Now slowly bring your awareness back to your nose. And this time, instead of watching the breath, try to feel the sensation of the breath at the tip of the nose. So as you breathe in and out of the nose, just feel the sensation. Trying not to fall asleep. You could imagine breathing in cool air and breathing out warm air. Cool air in, warm air out. Try to become one with this sensation. become more comfortable, distractions may arise, or you may naturally fall asleep. Don't worry, just bring yourself out slowly and continue to focus on the sensation of the breath at the nose. You are one with this sensation. You are the cool air coming in. You are the warm air coming out. Become one with the sensation. Instead of pushing to keep awake, instead of tensing, become more gentle. Be more gentle as you connect to the sensation. Like a leaf flowing in the breeze, the leaf cannot change direction, can only follow where the wind takes it. Be gentle as you continue to become one with the sensation. Imagine now a sky, a clear blue sky. Imagine all the clouds and problems have disappeared. Your mind is a clear blue sky, free from all problems. Even thunder, even rain cannot destroy the sky of your mind. After the thunder is gone, after the rain is gone, the sky remains. This is similar to your mind. Please connect to your clear sky mind. You could imagine it is around your heart area, the center of your upper body, your clear sky mind. For the last few minutes, imagine you are at one with your clear sky mind. My mind is as clear as the sky. Nothing can hurt it. Last minute, clear sky mind. Last few seconds. Now being very, very gentle, very, very slow. Take your time to rise from meditation. Thank you. How's everyone feeling? It's okay if you feel nothing, it's also fine. It doesn't matter whether you feel something or not. It only matters about reaching the final destination. If you are meditating and at home it feels difficult, and even you don't necessarily feel anything special, just imagining that you feel connected and imagining that you do feel some kind of happiness is good enough. It's fine, because you're just creating the causes for it to happen in the future. So it doesn't matter even if you get nothing out of it, because you actually do gain a lot out of it. This is what people don't understand. It's like, I tried meditation, I tried it, and yeah, it was alright, and that's it, you know. This is very common, but that's not what meditation is about. Meditation, in terms of my tradition, is connecting our mind to virtue, connecting our mind to a virtuous object. Not a candle, not a neutral object, a virtuous object. Virtuous objects that we will build towards include minds of like love, compassion, wisdom, clarity. Minds that help to awaken us, I know that might sound crazy in this day and age, awakening. Buddha said we're asleep, and by doing certain meditations, we can just become awake. The answers are within us, and all we have to do is connect to that. All we have to do is awaken our mind. That's it. So the answers are not outside. Buddha said the answers are inside. But there's a blockage. And once we can get through that, in fact the blockage is pretty heavy. It's not something small. It's not like a block sink or something. This is a big blockage. A blockage of 84,000 issues here, 84,000 delusions. So it's not that you have to go through each of them. If you can get rid of the main one, you fix everything. So it's not the worst situation, but it's something to work towards. And the more you reduce the problems, these delusions, the more you reduce them, the happier you become, and the better your life is, and the better other people's life is as well. So it's a win-win. So you can't live. So that's pretty good. Any questions?
You said 84,000.
Yeah.
What is that figure?
Buddha, when the Buddha from 2,500 years ago said there are 84,000 problems, and he equated that to 84,000 delusions. Mm-hmm. I was going to go into delusions later, but the definition of a delusion is something that distorts the way we see things around us, the way we see people, and the way we see ourselves. There's something distorting us, like the clouds in the sky. So we do have a clear sky mind, but clouds are covering it. These clouds are, like we say, delusions. Once the clouds are gone, then we're free. That's it.
Is it anything to do with the past 84,000 lives or something like that?
It's not about the past 84,000 lives, no. But
because in also say that we have 84,000 lives before we get the human life or something like that.
I think it's something like, I've heard those kinds of things. Isn't that like in Upanishads or something? Yeah, that's in Hindu texts, I think. But I don't know everything about that. But Buddha did say there are 84,000 delusions to fix. However, if you want to get rid of all the delusions, you can get rid of the main one. The main one is called, anyone remember? Ignorance, yeah, ignorance. Ignorance is the biggest delusion. If we can get rid of ignorance, we get rid of all of them. What is ignorance?
Ignorance is like you identify. I'm saying from the Hindus, you identify yourself with this body and this mind. That's the ignorance. And ego, or ego. It's like, this is me. That's the ignorance, because we are not bound by this body. That's a great thing.
Yeah, you could. That's a great way of going about it. The way we see us, again, the way we see ourselves, the way we see the world around us. The way we see ourselves is ignorant, because we see ourselves in what we call I don't like using big words, but we see ourselves in a dualistic way. It's like we see two. It's like we see two of ourselves. It's like we're naturally schizophrenic. But one easy way to understand is the way we see the world around us. We think there is us, and then we think there is the world. It's not like that. In terms of the problem of ignorance, that is ignorance in itself, the way we divide things into two. Yeah. This is called a dualism, because dual means two. So dualism, we split things into two. And if we understood that we were at one with our mind and the world around us, we wouldn't have any problems. And this is the situation we're in. We've split everything. Not only the world around us, but the way we view ourselves. So one of the best meditations when it comes to emptiness is to do it on our body. Once we do it on our body, it's easier to apply it to everything else. That's why we're so attached to our body. We're even attached to our name. And our name was given by our parents. Our name isn't really our name anyway. But we think we hold on to things so much. Someone makes fun of your name at school, you naturally feel bad about it. So and that's another problem. Natural. We naturally feel bad because delusions are natural. We grow up with them, they're natural. It's not like kids don't have them. It's just kids don't notice they have them yet. It's like kids are on holiday. It's like when we're on holiday, when we take our first holiday, everything is new. So our delusions don't know how to react. Our delusion of anger doesn't know if we should be angry to something or not until we have actually got used to being in that scenario. We don't really know what to be happy with. So when we're on holiday, I think we're in it's a very special state. That's why holidays are very nice, because at the beginning, or new relationships, because everything's very new, and there is a special feeling that comes up. It's like you don't completely attach and you don't completely repel. So this holiday feeling, I say there's a similarity with that and emptiness. Not the same, but still a similarity, and it's very beautiful. And that's why kids' minds can be very beautiful as well. They don't attach to things. Well, they do eventually, but that's why the mind of a kid, the joy of a child's mind, is an aim to apply meditation, to be like a child at play. That's how we should view meditation, like a child playing with a toy. Because a child can play with a toy for a very long time and just enjoy it. But when we become adults, we lose that enjoyment. Nothing is that new anymore. And as we get older, things become less and less new, and we become more stubborn as well. And it's horrible. And it's a shame, because the only thing that people have left is like Disneyland, and it's like, and you can go 100 times, it does get boring. So what we're trying to create is a magical world within us. By doing that, the whole world will become new again. Not just the whole world, just our inner world. That's what meditation is about. So if you have a relationship and the relationship isn't good, yes, meditation can revive it for you, not for the other person, but for you, yes. If you're having problems at work, meditation can revive your mind. Yeah, maybe things can change at work through meditation, but they'll probably think you're crazy, so it doesn't matter. So if you want to revive things around, if you want to add fire to the world, ignite yourself. Meditation is a brilliant way to achieve changes, but the changes start within. They don't not out on the outside. They need to come from within.
You mentioned about duality. That means, isn't it that identifying with this body and this mind is causing the duality itself? Because we are not supposed to be limited by this body and this mind. We are one with the universe.
Well, there are many levels. Actually, there are many different philosophies of, in general, it's the way we identify with our body and mind. But there are some philosophies that will say the mind is, our body isn't ours, so there's a duality. But some people will think, but the mind is us, we are the mind. But there are different levels. The system I follow is called the Majjhimaka Prasangika system, and they say there's not even a mind. If you look into the mind, you can't even find the mind. So there are many different levels, but even the mind doesn't exist, because when you try to find your mind using eyes of wisdom, emptiness, you can't see it. So that's the whole idea. Once you realize that these don't exist, they exist conventionally, but when you understand ultimately that they don't exist, then you connect to that wisdom mind, that mind of clarity, and it's gold. It's wonderful, and that's the end. That's what you call becoming awakened. but there are many steps.
And what if, when I'm thinking of meditation, I think of that if I try to be happy, so when I meditate, I'm thinking of the happiness things. But if I still have some problem inside of me, inside of my mind, how if I finish my meditation and the problem still there? Is that
You mean the problem is outside or the problem is within? And
still within? Yeah.
Well,
Is that really make you a true happy that you did not deal with the problem still there, or you try to settle down the problem, then come back to your very settled mind,
okay, it's a
peaceful mind?
It's a good question. This is a great question. Actually, there are many different meditations to solve many different problems. So as Buddha said, there's 84,000 delusions, so 84,000 problems. He provided different ways to solve different meditations. So many people have different problems. So if your problem is with loneliness, like a lot of people get lonely and then they get on Tinder or something. I'm lonely on Tinder. I don't know, if you're a baby boomer, I'm lonely, I don't know, Vincent, South Road, I don't know. I'm just looking at generations here. Okay, so now let's say you're lonely and you can't get to any of those things. You've been on Tinder, you've done your 10, I don't know how many swipes you get there. I've never actually used it. But let's say you've done your maximum swipes, you're lonely, you're by yourself, you got nothing. So you've got this mind of loneliness. One of the best meditations for loneliness is a meditation called renunciation. So, but let's say your problem is not loneliness, let's say it's depression. Now if it's depression, every doctor, I went for a health check 2 days ago and the doctor even had depression. Never had that 2 years ago in the health check. Now it's like, depression, are you depressed? No. Are you sure? No. Are you sure? All right, get me into it. I'm joking. It's very strange, now. Now it's like, you have to be depressed. So there are many, so let's say you do a meditation, you feel depressed, you do a meditation, after meditation, you still feel depressed. Let's just say that, for instance. So did that mean the meditation didn't work? Yeah, for that problem, it probably didn't work. But the reason why you're doing meditation, if you really have strong depression and it's making you feel very negative, then I'd say you might not want to do meditation at that point, because if your mind's extremely negative, your delusions are very strong, and you go into meditation, you might end up focusing on very negative things. So if your mind is very, very weak, then you might not want to do meditation at that point. You might want to do something else. You might want to go out for a run. You might want to do something else. So you have to understand your mind to know what antidote is the best. So if you do meditation and you don't necessarily, and the same problem is back afterwards, it might be that you're not used to doing the meditation, or you didn't do the correct one. There are different meditations for different problems. But if your problem was very strong and then you went into meditation doesn't always help. So that's why I say if someone has manic depression, for instance, it might be better that they don't come here, because when they're manically depressed, then everything they see out of their eyes is negative. Their whole world is negative. Even if they see something positive, they can automatically transform something positive into something negative. And I've seen it very often with people in that state. So you have to know your mind very well and know the problem and know what meditation to use. But meditation is not a quick fix to very big problems. It's not a quick fix to loneliness. But eventually you will find, let's say you've been trying to get a relationship all your life, or a good one, and you couldn't find a good relationship and it's made you feel bad. Or you're in a relationship and it's really bad as well. So eventually through meditation you will learn that you can be happy with or without the relationship. You can actually be happy by yourself with your mind. And it's very beautiful. You can actually then feel real love. Things change after that. Then you can have different types of relationships. You can have like relationships where you really love someone. Most people go into relationships out of loneliness or, obligation or something. So it's very beautiful. So it takes time. That's the only problem. Everything takes time. But as you learn more about your mind and you become very frank, very truthful with your mind, then you'll know what the real problem is, and then you can start giving the real antidote. But a lot of people don't know their mind. A lot of people don't know much about what is happening with their mind. They don't even know that, most people don't even know their mind is being controlled by their own delusions. People don't realize that. People think all the problems generally come from outside. It's like, this person was horrible to me at work, so this is that person's problem. No, it's not. The problem is that we felt angry. That's the real problem. The problem is we were unable to control our mind. Yes, we can deal with that. If someone is angry, yes, we can fill out a harassment form or whatever and get them struck off or whatever. But we don't have to do that with an unhappy mind. We can do all that with a positive mind. We don't have to let other people impact how we are. That's our delusions taking control of us. There is no such thing as a real, inherent, angry, horrible person. Because even that horrible person will have a mum who probably loves them to bits. And they might have a child who thinks they're the god of the world. There is no person on the planet who is absolutely evil from their own side. So there's no reason for us to feel inherently angry with someone. We don't need to feel angry. If we want to feel angry, we're just creating more causes for more anger in the future. And that's what society does. That's what the media does. We're just being trolled all the time. I mean, I'm getting all these trolls on troll news every day. It's like, oh, this person was on a plane flight and someone didn't let them sit on a chair. It's like, I'm always getting this news every day. I don't know why. It's like this person said no to letting a mum sit next to a child on a plane. It's like trying to generate anger out of me. It's like, oh no, that's really bad. That person booked their seat, put their name on that seat, but someone tried to be privileged, entitled, and like lots of political drama every day to make me develop minds that say this is wrong, this is right. You can say this is right and wrong, but ideally, overall, there is no real right and wrong. When it comes in the realm of emptiness, there is no right and wrong.
So that's why you say that when you dissociate from your mind, because your mind, you identify, is not you actually, it's the experiences from outside, and that you think is your mind and it's you, but it's the outside experiences make up your mind.
Yeah, we're dissociating from our delusions.
Yes.
We're dissociating from our delusions.
Yeah.
But this is a problem. A lot of people tend to think, I feel angry, so I am bad. But actually, that's not true at all. Everyone has problems with anger at some kind of level. In Buddhism, we think anger is just like being irritated. Like if someone pushes in the queue, and you just think, oh, that's not good. You just think it. Even that we call anger. So the level of anger in Buddhism is like you have low to very high. It's like even just being mentally disturbed, but no one noticing you're mentally disturbed. That's still anger. So understanding how anger works within our mind is very important, and understanding that if we can get rid of these problems within the mind, then we can really. That's fixing the real problem. And this problem is the delusion, and we need to understand I am not that delusion. So yes, the delusions are unhappy at this point, but that is not the real me. This is a major change. This changes how you view yourself, and this changes how you view others as well. When you understand that people are acting because of their delusions, they're acting because they're being like a puppet on a string with their delusions. You really change how you see the world, and your compassion can start increasing. And then you can learn how to really help yourself and others. The problem is people think, I've done something bad, so I'm a bad person. That is not true. That is just your delusion saying that. Because I'm a bad person, and then that makes you feel unhappy, and I'm able to do something. Delusions love that. So what are you going to do? The only thing I can do is what? When you're feeling really bad and you've tortured yourself, what do you do next? Watch Netflix? I don't know. Watch Netflix. How not to torture myself? I don't know. So
you go into another delusion. That's it.
our delusions will open. Yeah, we'll just open another world and just go for that.
Yeah.
But we don't really fix the problem. We never fix the problem. We just keep piling new stuff on our mind. Like, I mean, people do it all the time, but people just don't understand it. And remember, it's natural. We naturally want to be happy. Everyone, if you ask everyone, they want to be happy, but how people want to be happy, it's like, how do people really want to be happy? It's like, a lot of people might want, a lot of like Generation X, I think, I don't know what they're called, Gen Z, sorry, I don't know. Sounds like a rap group. So a lot of people want to be YouTubers these days, or TikTokers now. It's like if the younger generation were TikTokers and YouTubers, they would feel their life is pretty much fulfilled. Other people might think, they might want to be like Zuckerberg or something. They might want some level of prestige from like owning something or owning a company. Some people just think, I just want enough money to be financially independent. People just have different ideas, but generally people think they want some kind of material, something outside that will bring them stability. Yes, you could have stability, but at the same time, maybe you may not. With more money can come more problems. With more money, you need to employ more security. And then you'll have different worries. People may like you because you have more money. They might not like you because of who you are. So there are different problems. People don't understand that. A lot of people just don't. They don't want to understand that. So what we ideally, primarily need to understand is that if we want to really fix everything, we can still go outside to get what we want. But primarily, the biggest problem lies in our mind. If we don't fix our mind, it doesn't matter what we have, it doesn't matter how much money we have, it doesn't matter how many Teslas we have, it doesn't matter about anything, we will not be able to fix. We will die unhappy. It's 100%, I'm sure.
I think a great recent example of that was Coco Lee. Do you know Coco Lee? She fashion.
A singer?
A singer.
Yeah, a singer. So she had so much money. I mean, she was living in this penthouse suite, up in the sky in Hong Kong, and she killed herself. She was miserable.
Coco Lee. Okay.
So she had everything.
And she killed herself?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So she was miserable.
I know someone called Jackie Chung in 2003 in Hong Kong did the same, right?
I don't know.
Jackie?
Jackie Chung, an old actor, from Hong Kong.
Uh-huh.
I know in 2003.
Jackie?
Chung?
No idea.
Oh, no.
Chung.
Chung.
Not Chen. Chung.
He was in the Chow Yun Fat movies. He was
No.
See, you guys are too young, you don't know. So you know Coco Lee.
Yeah.
I know this guy in 2003 in Hong Kong, and he jumped. So it does, and they had everything. Okay, so and this guy was a really great actor in Hong Kong and a singer, and he had everything, and he just killed himself as well. Don't worry. Yeah.
You mentioned like certain meditations for certain delusions.
Yeah.
You gave the example of loneliness.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, could you describe either that meditation for loneliness, or if there's not enough time, like another meditation for another distinct delusion? I'm just curious. I'd love to hear a description of that to kind of
Let me give you another. Okay, so another delusion is pride. Pride. So, what do you think would be the antidote meditation to pride? Pride, which leads to arrogance. So normally, when you become
more wealthy and you get a high senior place in your job, or you have some high position, then a lot of pride will come. It's quite natural. So what kind of meditation would be the antidote to pride?
Something about humility.
Exactly. Meditations relating to humility.
But I'm curious, like, is there like a certain prescription? Like, is there like a certain like mantra that was like delineated by Buddha that's like a standard part of the canon? Or?
There isn't actually, but as we practice more, we start to learn in our own practice what can work better. For example, if I wanted to increase my humility, for instance, yeah, I might associate with a certain Buddha, but like there are different types of Buddha. Like one is that medicine Buddha. So, and there are mantras from medicine Buddha you could find in YouTube or something. You could, for example, if you were lonely or you had the problem, you could use those mantras. So, because we have certain karma with different types of Buddha, so medicine Buddha. But let's say you have problems like every time you go into a relationship, it's very bad. You go into a relationship, it fails. They always have an affair. Like this problem, always affair, always affair, always affair. So they say this is a certain thing from a past karma. So how do you fix that problem? Purification. So you go into the purification. There are loads of types of purification, from purification mantras, purification. You can read through the sutras, or you can even do confessions in certain ways. There are many different ways of purifying that future potential ripening. So there are many antidotes. There are many problems, many antidotes, but you need to find what works well for you, because like for me, the certain purification mantras, they don't work with me very well, which I'm not supposed to say, but I do like the confession sutras. Really, they work very well for me, the confession ones. So different practices to different people, and that's what's quite amazing. There are many different ways. Yeah.
So the language of the sutra is usually Sanskrit, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't understand the language, they still work or not?
Or they do work, but everything's been translated in our tradition. So we have it in English, Mandarin. All the sutras have been translated, but some Sanskrit remains.
Like when you say mantra, you still speak Sanskrit, right? But
The
you just
mantra is
understand the
Sanskrit.
meaning of that, or you say it in English.
I would say you don't need to understand the meaning of it, because you know it's a medicine Buddha mantra, so you would know that when you say, when you say that mantra, you kind of know it's related to medicine Buddha. So whether you understand what it means or not, you have a problem and you need medicine Buddha. I think that's good enough personally. But if you understand the mantra, does it make it any better? We will teach you what they mean, but from my point of view, for me, I don't feel it helps. I don't feel I need to know the meaning, but I still know the meaning. It's like I told you guys a story about the woman and the stone.
Yeah.
So a woman didn't know the meaning of a mantra, but she said it to a stone so she could eat the stone during a time of famine. And she didn't know the meaning of the mantra, but she was saying it. She said the mantra, and then she could eat stones during a time when everyone was dying of starvation. She didn't know what the mantra meant. And then her son came home, and he was a monk, and said to Mother, how come you look so well? You're plump, you're well, you look great. And then the mother said, oh, I've been eating stones. And he said, that's how? And she said, oh, I've been saying this mantra. And he said, oh, tell me the mantra. And she said the mantra, and it was like, on Sunday, Bekenze, Maha, Bekenze, so. And then he said, oh, that's good, but you said the mantra slightly wrong. It's blah, 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 Bekenze. And then every time the mum used the mantra on the stones, it no longer worked. She couldn't eat them anymore, and even though she said the mantra right. So
it's what you feel rather than what you say.
That's how I feel personally.
Because I heard some people that when you speak Sanskrit as a Westerner, and when you make a pronunciation which is not correct, maybe then you can have a negative effect. Is that correct?
I disagree with that. Okay. Because everything comes from the mind. So Buddha said everything starts from the mind. So even if your speech is wrong, if your intention is right, that's what comes first. Everything starts with the mind. But in a lot of different religions stuff, a lot of people think it starts with like what you say, with your speech or your body actions. But in Buddhism, they say everything starts with the mind. Everything starts with mind and then continues.
So you say that people, when they are proud, they can get some solution from meditation.
Meditation and medication, but they do. They can't. I would say it's not just about meditation. They would probably need to. They could read a bit. They might need to read and learn about the problems of their arrogance. Different things they can do.
Well, what if they are not used to meditate beforehand?
So maybe they could read some. They could read. So we have different books. They could actually read about the problems.
I think something's more common if you are intentionally to touch with people who are very poor and low status. Maybe you can get some their experience, how they struggle for their life. Maybe it will give you a positive influence.
Don't know, most CEOs, it gives them more power. It makes them feel more arrogant for a lot of them.
Really?
Yeah, they get used to it. At the beginning, I'm sure it means that it's good, they can help, but when they see...
develop your empathy?
You could, but if everyone could do that, everyone would be naturally enlightened by now. I mean, a lot of CEOs would be enlightened, a lot of them would be awakened, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them are much worse. A lot of them are setting up UFC fights in Colosseums in Rome. They're not really looking at their mind to help other people. They're kind of lost in a crazy world, if you're asking me.
You don't know what Elon Musk can do.
I'm talking about Elon Musk and Zuckerberg. Yes. Yes.
How did you come to your tradition?
How did I come to my tradition? That's a hard question. How did I come to it?
Well, what I mean is, like, did you have exposure to other traditions and like not resonate with them, and then find this one, or was this your current tradition the one that you started off with? And
No, I went to a number of traditions, and yoga and Tai Chi as well, and other Buddhist traditions, and looked at TC, transcendental meditation. I didn't want to join a religion. I hate religion personally. My delusions do not like religion, but I wanted the quickest way to completely fix the mind in this life, and I didn't mind what. I just wanted to make sure it could be done before I die. So, and I just wanted to find the system that could work best for me. So that's what led me to this path. The more I practice on this path, the more open I feel towards other religions, which is true. So it's a good thing, but it's not what I see other people the opposite. So it's uncommon. So.
I'm curious, is there you mentioned non-duality. Is there a substantial overlap between your tradition and Dzogchen?
Dzogchen is from Nyingmas. That's Longchen. That's the finding. What's that in
Rest and illusion.
That one. Dzogchen is one of the 4 types of Tibetan Buddhism. So there's a major similarity. I mean, my tradition goes back to Nagarjuna in 800, and so does Dzogchen. And I think they use I think it's called Longchen, is it, in the 1400s. I think a lot of it comes from that. I mean, there's a lot of similarity. But Dzogchen, I'd say, uses more Zen. Like, it's a bit Zen-like in some respects. But I do think I think it's a very interesting tradition. But is it similar? Yeah. The final aim is similar, and but the way, yeah, there are just little changes in the way. There was a lot of things I wanted to talk about, but hey, we do need to get on with doing the meditation. What I wanted, I had so much written down. Not everything has been. I did try and integrate it though. What I'd like us to look at is the most important thing to understand at the moment is that the suffering that we experience comes from our mind. It's really important to start investigating whether this is true. Buddha said you need to ask, does our suffering primarily come from our mind? So I'll read something. It says here in Transform Your Life, the real source of happiness is inner peace. If our mind is peaceful, we will be happy all the time, regardless of external conditions. But if it is disturbed or troubled in any way, we will never be happy, no matter how good our external conditions may be. External conditions can only make us happy if our mind is peaceful. We can understand this through our own experience. For instance, even if we are in the most beautiful surroundings and have everything we need, the moment we get angry, any happiness we may have disappears. This is because anger has destroyed our inner peace. So the aim is to start learning to blame our problems not necessarily on other people, but of course we can still deal with them, but we need to understand that what allowed us to feel unhappy, what broke our inner peace, was our own mind. It's so important to start identifying not with our delusion, identifying with our pure state of mind, to identify with our potential, to identify with the awakened self, and not with the delusion. By identifying with the delusion, we just continue in the same cycle, even just doing what the media wants us to do, being angry in the way everyone wants us to be, just following the same drama, and not bringing great meaning to our life. Great meaning to our life is, Buddha says, is inner peace. That is great meaning, because Buddha said that's the only way we can really help others. Buddha said we can't help others, we can't even create world peace if our mind is not peaceful. If we want to start with world peace, we need to start with our own inner peace. Buddha said this is very, very important, or we'll never have world peace. It's very natural to feel we need to fix things outside, which we can, but we should really understand that the true sickness overall is within us if we don't have inner peace. So that needs to come first and foremost above everything. If we can be more truthful with ourselves and start learning what our delusions are doing. So the main three delusions, ignorance, anger, attachment, if we can understand that when we're angry, we're exaggerating a situation, we're making a situation we feel is negative into something bigger. If we can understand with attachment, we are seeing things as the answer to our problems and exaggerating. If we can understand that, this is a great start, because then we can learn to see things for what they are, as neither good nor bad. What is just is, and it's very beautiful. It's not neutral. It's a very beautiful one. Definitely worth pursuing.
So, what if Coco Lee, the singer, who committed suicide, or your best friend, what would you do when you are aware that he's have this intention to commit suicide?
It's really a difficult question because lots of people I meet have intentions to commit suicide. So
this is a real example.
my dad attempted 3 times. I've met some students who killed themselves. I've met people commit suicide. So I wouldn't bring them to this class because when your mind is at the stage of suicide, or has been, I wouldn't say at the stage of suicide because I think some people just think that more and more people just say it. So once you start saying you don't want me in this relationship, okay, I'll just go and jump off a bridge. Once you start saying it, and this is, you're planting seeds. This is extremely dangerous, extremely dangerous. Once people start thinking about it, they start saying it, and then they start thinking about it. They lie in the bed thinking, oh, this person doesn't love me, I'd probably be better off there. And they keep thinking about it. You're literally like meditating on it. This person has been having this on their mind for a long period of time. The delusion is very heavy. So the first thing you don't want to do is say it's because of your delusion. Someone with a very heavy mind does not want to hear that. So you don't want to say, the reason why you want to commit suicide is because your delusions are very high. It's like, no, they'll jump. So you have to be extremely skillful with people, manic depression, suicide. Like I said, manic depression, suicidal. You have to be very, very skillful. You have to be very, very skillful with them. And it's okay to go to doctors and take medication, but you have to know the medication can kind of, I would say it hides the problem. It doesn't fix the problem. To fix the problem, either the karma ripens, or they have to go through a long period of counselling and stuff like that. They have to really face it, and that's not easy. That's not easy at all. So with suicidal people, you have to remember, in Buddhism we say people who commit suicide, it's the same mind as the person who wants to murder someone. So it's the same delusion that arises. So you have to be very careful for yourself as well when those people are around. Like, let's say someone wants to commit suicide and you stop them, but they want to kill themselves with a knife. Let's say you try to stop them, but they're so angry in their mind that they kill you. That can happen because the delusion is so strong at that time. You can't blame them for it. That's how they feel. But in terms of Buddhism, suicide it's the same. It's like, do not kill. That applies to yourself, it applies to others, it's the same. Do not kill. It's very important. Murdering yourself, it's literally like murdering someone else. It's not as bad in karma, I guess, but it's horrendous. It does not free you from your problems. If someone's going to commit suicide, honestly, you have to call the police and get help. I know that they're not the best help, but but when they're in that state and in that world where they want to jump off a bridge or overdose, or they normally cut. So you have to be around them for a long time to see how they act. But normally it's pills and that bridge in Luco or whatever it is, Linko. So I've seen people do both, but when their minds are like that, we can't ask them to meditate. It wouldn't work. That's the last thing they'll want to do.
So it's nothing to do if she's pride. She has some really snobby, he's no arrogant.
Once the delusions are at such a strong level, they really just need to be held down, I guess, so you'd have to call the police.
I think of that if you were her best friend, you try to lead her to different surrounding. Maybe just like going to reach to some poor people to see how they're struggling.
Oh, if you do it, like you mean like 1 month earlier, 2 months earlier, or you mean
So
this-
before you are
Oh, much
aware
before.
that he has such intention, you can stop her from doing this.
I don't know if you could stop her, but you can always try your best earlier. But it's hard to say. It's hard to say because even if you take someone and do the best you can, or you have a son or daughter, you do the best you can and you do everything. You take them to the best places, or you put them in the best situations, you give them the best instrument, you send them to the best national school, you get them into MIT or Harvard. They can still kill themselves, because that's exactly what happened to my friend. She got to Harvard, law school, lawyer, in the best situations, and yeah, she hung herself in the USA 4 years ago. So she was in very good environments. She had very good environments, very great friends, except the professor she slept with. But apart from that, who had a wife and said he didn't. So we can try our best to change external situations, but don't feel bad if you did your best and it didn't work out. At least you know you tried. The only thing we can guarantee and change is our own mind. That's the only thing, our own mind. We can still try for others and do our best, but it's not 100%. Sorry to say. We can't control what others will do. It's not easy. It's not easy, this world. It's getting harder, and people are really destroying their lives. And more people will do it. And you might end up having friends on Facebook or IG or whatever you use, and they disappear. And it's like, and then you still see them on Facebook. I have to experience this often. I have lots of more and more dead people on Facebook, or not Instagram yet, but on Facebook there's more and more dead people, and it looks like they're alive because like happy birthday every year, but they're all dead. And this is and premature death. They either killed themselves or they had early stage cancer or something. So, but they all actually had quite good environments. Having good environments doesn't guarantee the best, but we can try. We still need to try. If we just don't try, that really isn't helping. But we can't feel bad. We can't blame ourselves. Because if we blame ourselves, that's associating with our delusion. A Buddha can read people's minds. So if you can awaken your mind, then you will know what is best for different people, and you will do your best to help them in that situation. You don't even need to be a Buddha to do that, unfortunately. So there are crazy people who do so. So anyway, the point being is that we have to do our best, but don't take it to heart if it doesn't go the way you want. But I know it's hard. And this world won't get easier because more and more people believe in fixing things from the outside and not the inside. So this world is going to get harder. And ideally our job is to fix our mind first. We can still fix things outside, but we have to understand we need to put our mind, we need to really get rid of these delusions, or we are kind of disabled. Buddha said having delusions is like having a disease. So we're someone with a disease trying to help people because we think we're normal. The first thing we have to understand is that we're all on the same boat. We're not normal. We have problems in our mind. We need to get rid of them. Once we begin to do that, our lives will improve. Okay? If we want to improve our lives, so meditation. So let's finish with a quick meditation. a good meditation to do for this, a good antidote to this solemn, depressed ending, is to meditate on a world without delusions. Meditate, what will our mind be when our delusions are gone? We're going to imagine in meditation our mind with no anger, no loneliness, no depression, no negative mind at all. Even if you're rejected from the best job ever, even if you're fired from your job, even if you lose the best relationship, even if you had nothing, you have everything within your awakened mind. Please, let's do an antidote and connect to our potential. So in meditation posture, and please remember your motivation for yourself and for others, to bring happiness to yourself and to bring happiness to others. Right hand on the left, back straight. Slightly and gently become aware of the breath at your nose. For tonight, if we're going to get angry and if we're going to put blame, we're not going to blame ourselves for any problem. Instead, we will blame the delusion within us, because that delusion is like a cloud. It is not the real us. So any problem, we will blame the delusion. We want to get rid of something, we want to get rid of our delusion. So using any suffering you may feel, the suffering of perhaps how unfair this world is, use that suffering and put the blame onto getting rid of the true perpetrator. Please try and put your blame onto the delusion. Instead of blaming others this time, you're going to blame the delusion, the clouds within our minds that are stopping us from being fully happy. Please take some time to become aware of your delusions and place blame on them and not yourself. Instead of saying, I hate this world, you can say, I hate this delusion. You want to swear? Only swear at your delusion, not at yourself, and not at others. Blame your delusions for the problems. Develop a strong wish for your delusions to completely disappear. imagine, like clouds, that delusions begin disappearing, but these clouds are black smoke within your mind, within your body and mind. Your delusions appear as black smoke, and as you breathe out, please imagine the black smoke leaving your body and mind. Breathing out, imagine the black smoke completely disappearing into outer space and dissolving. So breathe out, get rid of all these delusions. Get rid of anger, pride, hatred, jealousy, get rid of everything, loneliness, depression, irritation, out breath, release as black smoke. Please believe that this is really happening. Imagine your body and mind becoming lighter. Those deluded clouds disappearing into outer space. Imagine now the black smoke has disappeared. So release the last part. Now imagine it's just you and your awakened mind. Clear sky mind, mind of freedom and joy. You can either really feel or imagine, both create the same pause. Connecting to any joy or imagined joy, single-pointedly for 2 minutes. Joy at the heart. Last few seconds. And finally, making a dedication, dedicating inwardly, making a wish to increase your own happiness, and a wish for others to be happy so that we can have world peace. Please dedicate for the last few seconds.
Okay, please slowly arise from meditation. Thank you. Okay, went over time. Many questions today. Never happened ever before. Never had these kind of questions. If anyone wants to discuss more, I'll discuss outside. Thank you everyone very much for coming. If you have questions, let me know. We have lunchtime meditation Wednesday. We have classes here Wednesday evening and lunchtime meditation in the room next door. Saturday classes at the KMC, and there's a pizza in September or something, so you can see it there. So please keep on the mailing list. If you want to be on the mailing list, let us know. Thank you everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you.